Good afternoon, good evening to everybody who I'm sure is not watching my stream. Welcome to 8th stream of my game dev journey, and I hope everyone has had a good week. It's Friday evening in South Africa. I'm wearing my Springbok jersey, and we are playing France on the weekend in the World Cup quarterfinals. So good luck to the boys. Hope they have a good game and a good play. And hopefully we make it through. Sorry to French, the host nation. I'm sadly going to root for you to watch the rest of the World Cup from the stands. So what happened in game dev this week? I don't think there were any major game releases or exciting game releases. I think I really should try and get a bit of an eye on indie game releases, because there's been quite a few of those. Stream Next Fest was on this week, or it might still be going. I have not actually looked at what's on show at the Stream Next Fest. Again, probably something I should get more into. And the Blizzard acquisition with Microsoft's acquisition of Blizzard Activision is approved and going through, and I think closes today. So as of next week, World of Warcraft is owned by Microsoft. So, and they own Minecraft and Warcraft. And so what will that become then? I don't know. Mine War. We'll see what that means. I personally don't think it's going to mean as bad a thing for the industry as some people believe. I think Microsoft are trying to at least be good to the gaming industry. But having said that, I'm sure that there are quite a few people who are very concerned about that acquisition. Again, I guess time will tell. Is the one concern of how many of these consolidation acquisitions are going on and have been going on over the last while. Right, and then let's get into what's happening in Unreal. The editor has just opened up on my screen. It's still busy kind of caching and loading up textures and preparing textures and doing some lighting. Here we go. It looks like it's mostly up and running. Let me get it onto the screen here and change the view. So let's get into it. Okay, so I've managed to get a bit of work done on my little game jam project, and gonna hopefully crank out as much as I can this weekend. The deadline for this jump ship jam is on Monday, and I know that Monday is a very busy normal day for me, so I'm not going to be able to do any work on Monday. So whatever I want to do, I need to finish over the weekend and get done. Where I am at the moment is I've got some basic sort of hunting AI logic implemented. Some of the mobs have some attack animations associated to them. All of the different summoned creatures are implemented in as much as they have idle animations, so they might not have locomotion animations. They've got basic sort of hunting logic associated to them, but the attack logic is still buggy. I haven't quite fixed that yet. I was working on that last night and got it at least to the point where it triggers sometimes and misses most of the times. I might need to tweak the player character a little bit because you're very much a glass cannon, and single hit deaths is the norm. So yeah, the game is kind of starting to look like something. I don't know that the last time that we were looking at this we had implemented any of the HUD things. So HUD is implemented. I played around with the lighting a little bit. So maybe if we just take a bit of a look, see that there's some post-processing volumes and a little bit of ground fog that's been added. It's looking a little bit different. I've played a bit with some edging on the that especially comes up on the plants. Learned an interesting trick from my friend Adam about lighting, and essentially, because these materials associated to these lights are emissive materials, you don't need to actually have lights on them anymore. Lumen just magically makes them into lights and lights them up. So that's quite interesting. A lot cheaper lighting effects than what we used to have in the old days. Other than that, I haven't had an opportunity. I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't put the water effects in to the landscape. I'm hoping I can get that done probably over the weekend. At the very least, I should put the bridge over the canyon so that you can get to the last boss and fight the last boss. And hopefully I'll be able to get the castle built, but I still need to go through the assets and go muck up those assets and get them to work in Unreal from that other engine that shall not be named. Oh, one other interesting thing that happened this week, talking about that other engine that shall not be named, is John Riccatello has left Unity, and they've appointed an interim CEO. I'm not sure how I feel about the interim CEO. He's a ex-IBM and Red Hat exec, so probably much of the same issues that we will have with John, or that we had with John, in terms of what the focus is, and is the focus really on gaming, game development, or game industry related aspects, or mostly just corporate stuff. Here we go. And this one, yeah, I think it is. Okay, so let's take a bit of a look at some of the progress that we've made. If I can find the right window, there we go. Let's go see. So I was talking about the base class structure, and I don't know if I got into that, but essentially I've now created a structure with a character base, and from the character base we have the player class and we have a non-player class, and from the non-player class that splits into a minion and an enemy, and then the enemies are our foot soldier, cleric, knight, and the main bad guy, and the minions are the zombie and the skeleton and the ghoul and the wraith. Okay, and then in here, what have I got open now? I don't have it open. Let's go take a look. I have managed to put together the sort of HUD widget, and that there is a progress bar. So I've toyed around with some of the more visually appealing ways of doing it with tileable textures, and it's not tileable textures, I can't remember the word for it, but the textures that are sort of a montage of textures almost, and I just decided that it was going to take up too much time to try and make that nice and pretty, but it does it does work if I can find the percentage setting in this. There it is. Oh, terrible. So you can see that your health and mana does work in the UI. Spell boxes, and they change the color based on which one is selected, and XP bar that works as well. So if you were to take a look at the player, let's just get this player started. So I fixed that bug. That bug is fixed, so now the player is running from place to place, and if we select the player here and take a look at his details, we can changing the level unlocks the next spell, and it should not be showing us an XP value. So there's a bug that's been introduced. Old bugs out, new bugs in. That's problematic. Yeah, that is. That was now because of this, because it's a scrolly thing. Okay, so that's a problem. What does it do when it's at 3? Okay, so there's definitely a problem with how the XP percentages are being calculated. That did work, but I made a change to the code and clearly broke something in that process. But you can see that it unlocks the next spell in the list, and there's all our spells all nicely unlocked. The last one I haven't got an icon for yet. That's nice. The first one, and then let's just go back into the game view. Oh, there we go. You can summon a skeleton, summon a zombie. Okay, summon a come on. Oh, the level's back to 2. Let's level back to 2. Let's just make that 5. And summon a ghoul, or not apparently. And then also not working. Oh, that's unfortunate. Looks like there's some more bugs coming through. Oh, we're out of mana. Ah, that's why. Not a bug. See, we're the mana is implemented, so we're out of mana. That's why. That's why we couldn't summon more creatures, because we're actually out of mana. What else can we show? Okay, so the hit points do change. Look at that. The XP bar is now broken, so apologies for that. Yeah, the current mana. Let's just make the mana full again. I've forgotten that I could do that. Oh, look at that. That wraith looks pretty cool. They should not be going towards each other and trying to attack each other. It's also a bit of an issue. But yeah, that's some of the pieces that are now working. As you can see, they are hunting each other, although they shouldn't be hunting friendlies. So that's the extent. So basically, what I want to work on this evening is taking a look at just testing and checking some of those bugs, and hopefully I can fix some of the issues while we're on the stream in the next 30 or 40 minutes. So let's get started and see what works and what doesn't work, and how we're actually going to go about fixing some of these bugs. So if we start with this, we know that the movement is working. Summoning the skeleton, that's working. Oh yeah, there's still a little bit of that's off he goes, and they go and attack each other, but they're not applying damage, or they're not actually going into attack mode. So that's one of the bugs. They head towards each other, but they don't actually attack each other as they should be doing. So something is causing the attack trigger to start and then stop without the attack actually being performed. and we should see that we're too low level to go up to the next one. Then our XP bar was a bug, so let's start with the XP bar and let's fix that as our first little piece of our code to fix. This is going to be interesting, trying to just remember what I did there. Let's open this piece here and close the code. That's because I fiddled with the percentages. And XP bar, is the XP bar on the base? Or is it on the HUD? It could be on the HUD. Let's expand this piece here. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to be on the HUD. So I think it's you. There we go. This piece does the show spells. This piece here. Here we go. Alright, so it is cast it to a player, get player character. Where does it calculate the XP percentage? Let's just go see. Here we go, get XP percentage. So let's go take a look at get XP percentage. Okay, so that one says get the current, get the next level. And that function should just get the current index, get the next value. Seems the same as the previous code. Unless there is a better way to do this, I just stick print screens in everywhere. So let me take a look and see. Let's just go take a look at get the current. So that subtracts 1 from the level and loops until first index of 1. Okay. Let's just go take another look at this one. This one says get next, which is expecting. Okay, let's just rerun the test and make sure that the error that we're seeing is what we're expecting. Okay, select our player, and change the level to level 3. Oh, it's sort of manifesting at 2 already. Okay, so alright, so we need to put some print screens in there and see what's going wrong here. Okay, let's go back to that window. Okay, so this one. Alright, so let's go. Let's see. Bold string. So from the experience, which should be 0, and then string. Let's just do that as well. Hey. max it to keep my life a bit saner. Let's do it that way. That's going to be a bit saner. And let's do it from here. Bolt strings, so we're just making some strings. Okay, so this is current XV. Current level and next level. And do that. Do that. And print it. Okay, don't need to compile the blueprints. There we go. So now, okay, so that is 0, 0, and 1000. Right, so that is correct. That's what we expect to see. It should be 0, 0, 1000. Now if we make it level 2, let's get there, so taking a bit of strain. 3001 and 0. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I have an idea. Take a look. Okay, so that one is 3000. That one is 1, which makes it 1000. And so it should be I wonder if it's not because I was being pedantic about crossing lines. It says not Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. That's now what I expect to see. So now, if we make them 1500, aha, 2500. Yes. Okay. And then if we go up to level 3, it should be empty again, which oopsie, that's what we wanted. Level 3. And where's my experience? Oh, come on. Come. It's not thing. What's going on here? Where is it? Ah, there they are. Okay, so now it would be more than 3000. So if we go 4000. Fantastic. Okay, that was that. It was just a don't cross the streams moment. I am still really bad at following the chat, but there's a question about what am I doing now? Was that related to what, 8 minutes ago? So is that related to this this section here where I'm setting up the bold strings?
maybe. Let me answer the question in light of that, and if it's not what the question was related to, then I'll try again. So how's the best way to do this? The Unreal blueprints are representations of code. So it's a no-code platform, but it represents, underneath it, it represents C++ code. In C++, everything is typed and very strongly typed, and it's quite unfriendly about you just trying to use one type as another type, so much so that you would write into memory and do all kinds of naughty things. So you don't necessarily want to do that. So you have to convert the integer value, which is the return types from these functions, to strings, so that you can actually print them as strings. So this function here, build string, does a sort of string formatting where it puts a prefix text, then takes this integer number in and converts it as a string and appends it to the prefix value, and then you can add a suffix to it, and you can append to the string more things, and that outputs a string, and then I append that to I append this stuff to this output, so then this will follow, and it'll have the next prefix within the integer that's converted, which then outputs a string of the combined values, which then gets appended to, which then puts that current XP string and then appends the integer, and ultimately then prints that value out onto the screen. So right now I don't have a better way to do debugging of blueprints, so whenever I need to debug stuff, I just do lots of print screens until I find my errors, but I don't need them anymore. So now I just need to remember to join up the execution line, because otherwise nothing will happen. It won't actually execute any of the code. You can see that when that execution line is not joined up, let me just break that link again, you can actually see it. It didn't do it now. Let's take a look, and if I re-add it, yeah, you can see there that the lines of all of the underlying functions are pointing at my screen, because clearly that's useful. These lines are now grayed out. They don't actually have, they don't show that they're actually active, because there's no execution that links these things up. So in order for us to make this work, we need to join the execution line so that there's, I don't know, think about it like this. Think of it as almost there's power to the node, so that the stuff actually gets executed. So there we go. We fixed one bug. So pity I don't have some kind of bug slayer board tracking or something going on here. Okay, so that's a bug fixed. That's pretty cool. 15 minutes or so to fix a bug. Alright, so now our next bug is related to, I wonder if I should try and do those first. So when you are in range, oh there we go, I just want the one guy, and now he's not attacking. He should be in an attacking state. There we go, he does a swing and a miss, and swing and a miss, swing and a miss. But now that's interesting, it shouldn't be saying, it should be showing a hit there, swing and a miss. Oh right, okay, no, there was damage. At some point there was damage because I lost all my health. There, hit again for -6, and then it says hit 0. So there's -4, -6, and 0. So one of the things that I'm not sure why it's showing a hit with 0 damage. That shouldn't happen. There should definitely not be a hit with 0 damage. So that's certainly one issue. Another issue, and that's just going to be about the playability, is that literally these guys, when they hit you, you're dead. So my thinking was that the player has got very little hit points, kind of the glass cannon idea, but I didn't want the player to die immediately, sort of right out of the gate. The player dies because almost any hit is a deadly hit from these. Now their damage may be variable. Maybe I should do something like make their damage sort of 1d2, like they're punching or something. So they don't currently have weapons, but when I do give them weapons, maybe I'll set it up that they can have their weapons disabled or something, and they do less damage, so that the player, and when they get into the game initially, don't get killed almost instantaneously by the guards. Right, so I want to try and figure out why we're getting that that hit 0 damage. And to do that, we need to go take a look at our do attack logic, and that lives in non-player. So you can see that very quickly, just while we're here, a lot of what I've done so far is fairly brute force. It's really just based on, I know more or less what I want to do. I don't necessarily know what the best way is to do it in Unreal, but there's, you know, you can normally find your way around almost any problem, even if it's not the best way, but at least you can get a serviceable working problem. So what I've done here is I've got a bit of a state machine, a very simple state machine, and the NPCs can be in a spawning state, an idle state, a hunting state, following, attacking, dying, or dead. And obviously you can see I haven't implemented all of those states. That sets the health bar for the player, right? No, for the this actually, sorry, this sets the health bar for the NPC. The idle action does very little. It does a countdown to see whether it should start hunting. It goes into hunting mode. While it's in hunting mode, it checks to see if there's a player within its hunting range. So there's a property down here which says what is its hunting hunt target type and what is its hunting range, hunt radius. And if there's something of the hunt target type in the range, and or if it's hunting the player as well, then it will move towards it. Otherwise it goes back to idle, and then obviously in the idle there's an idle timer count, and it sits and waits in the idle timer until the idle time is more than the maximum idle time, and it goes back into that. Then when it does approach an enemy, it'll go into the attacking state based on a collision. So on the attack radius, there's a collision event that is that on component begin overlap, and all that does, well, it started out being very simple, and then it turned into quite a nightmare. What it does is it firstly sees, is this a character? Is this a character type, or is it something else? If it's something that I'm not interested in, then it's going to say, well, it's not something that I'm interested in, and that's just for debugging. That shouldn't be there long term. Then it says, is it of the hunting type? Is it of the type that I'm hunting? Or or if I'm hunting a player, is it a player? And if it is a and then is that a valid cast of the player? Or is it a valid cast of the other type that it's hunting? And so there's a bit of ands and ors here. So if you really want to get into the Boolean logic that's being applied here, and then at that point it says, okay, well, this is a valid type. That is something that I'm interested in, and so because it's something that I'm interested in, it sets the attack target, which is then used further down the line. It sets the state into attacking, and it says the time since the last attack is 0. So now it should be in a state of it's trying to attack you. But somewhere along the line, it kind of goes into the attacking state and then immediately falls out of the attacking state, and I don't know why. So that's what we're going to try and fix next, I think. Right, let's just try and unpack these things a little bit. So it casts it as a character base, and then from the character base it also okay, hang on a second. So here we have a character base, and we say if the character base is valid, so it is of that type, then we say, is it alive? Okay, yes, so does it have, is it alive? So also it shouldn't be attacking the player, because the player is dead at this point. And the is alive function checks whether your current hit points are greater than or equal 0. Okay, all right, that's probably one of the issues. It should be greater than 0, not greater than or equal. Because once your hit points are 0, you're unconscious in D&D, right? You can in some house rules allow you to stay conscious while making a fortitude save or something. But let's assume that if your hit points are hit 0, you are no more. You have shuffled off this mortal coil. For those who know some Monty Python. We don't want this XP calculation anymore. That's just something else. Okay, we're actually busy here. Alright. So if you are alive, then that goes into, so are you alive? You have to be alive. It has to be either a player or a hunted type. And if it is either of those, so it's if those two are, yeah, okay, so if you're hunting the player and is a valid player, that's one option. If you're hunting the target type and it is valid, that's the other option. So it's either or of those two. Next thing, and you are not currently, so this is a not equal check. This row returns true if A is not equal to B. So if the NPC state is not currently attacking, so you're not currently attacking, so all three of those things have to be true. Then we say yep, true. If it is not those things, it puts you back into a hunting state. So you see, you have to think about these things the whole time. You want to be hunting, right? So now we're in a hunting state because all of those things are not true. All of those things are not true, and that should hopefully make sure that it doesn't go into some kind of weird indeterminate state. So then when it goes hunting, it's going to look for a nearest target again to get into contact with. If, however, all of those things are valid, then we say the attack target is the original casted object, and we set it into attacking state, and we say the time since the last attack is 0. Then that should put you into the attacking state, right? That should put you in attacking state. So let's just go see. So what we're going to do is we're going to go onto the play mode. We are going to select that guy, which I think was Foot Soldier 2. What I'm actually going to do after this test, I'm going to remove the other Foot Soldiers because I realize having 3 there is going to be too hectic for the player anyway, unless you already know how this game works. So that should be our guy. Let's see his state. Where is his state? His NPC state. Okay, so his NPC state is idle. His time since last attack is 0. So I've made the time since last attack visible in the IDE so that I can actually see it. He should go into a hunting state every 3 or 4 seconds. So there we go. He went into a hunting state, didn't see anything nearby, and went back to idle. It happened quite quickly. So there he's in a hunting state. Okay, there we go. He sees me. Alright, now he's attacking. And he hits and he kills me. One shot. One shot dead. Okay. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Right, let's stop it. That did behave better. It definitely behaved better. So let's go take a quick look at this piece here. And what we want to actually do is do hunting action, do attack action. No. I think that might be on the character base. So I've created a function called calculate attack and damage. Okay, so calculate attack and damage. One of the things that I'm going to have to do is I'll show you now, but on my handbook I can show you here. I have an array of integers, which is the attack bonus, so +1, +2, whatever, which is then added to your dice roll for attack. I realized that I'm also going to need some form of weapon array, and yeah, I think I should actually separate those two things out. So have an array of your damages associated to your attack bonuses, and that way you check whether you hit and then use that that damage array to determine the actual damage. But because I don't have that right now, what I've done is I've just set up a default D6 damage. Now I'm going to make that a D2 damage to hopefully give the player a few seconds more before he dies when he gets attacked. So let's see, we're going to go back in there. There's something else I wanted to do here, right? So let's escape that quickly, and let's do that while we're thinking about it. I'm going to remove the other foot soldier, so I'm only going to leave the one in the middle of the road, or I'm going to leave foot soldier 1, which happens to be one on the left. That's fine, doesn't matter which one it is. I'm going to leave just the one, so that the player, if he runs forward, what's going to happen is if I'm in range, they're going to start charging me and they're going to attack me. So if there were 3 of them, if one of them is a one-shot death, then I think 3 of them are going to be pretty damn dangerous. So there we go. Let's take a look. He should now be in the attacking state. And there he swings, misses, swing and a miss. Okay. Hit 0 damage and I'm dead. See, that's so weird. Hit 0 damage and I'm dead. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense. You should not be able to one shot kill me like that. So there's definitely a bug in how the damage is being applied. Okay, let's go take a look at that damage calculation. Alright, so here we go. Let's go through this step by step. We start with the attacker and the defender. The attacker, we say get the attack bonuses, and for each attack bonus, roll a d20 once, 1 dice, and add the modifier, the attack modifier, to that. Okay. I've got to fix. There's a thing. There's a bug with this roll dice. Yeah, there's something that's going to have to change. And then take the defense bonus and add the defense bonus. Add 10 to the defense bonus, which means we roll a d20 plus attack modifiers, and then we my apologies. Then we add 10 to that, and that gives us our base to hit number. And so you roll a d20, and if you roll more than 10 plus the defense bonus, which I think is 0 in this case, then you hit. So if the roll is greater than or equal to the defense, because that is how d20 kind of calculates it out, then let's just go take a look. Let's go take a look here. Just add some. So I'm going to move these lines a little bit so I can see. Okay. Then we have a field called total damage. So we roll a d2 once, and there's no damage modifiers being added right now, which is okay. We add that to the total damage, and we set the total damage. So that should now be 1 roll once, because this guy only has 1 attack. Right. And that is weird. Okay, so then this comes here. Okay, so it says, is this prints no damage? And then I think I know what's going on. Wherever this one is being called, which is, I think it's in here in this whole do attack action. So let's go take a look at the do attack action. Right. Okay, so it calculates the time since last attack. If the time since last attack is greater than the attack speed, which, because I'm a bit crazy, let's do that, then I don't have to cross the stream so much. If it is greater than, then we're carrying on. We reset the time since last attack to 0. Otherwise, we set the time since last attack to the sum so that it can increment. We see that that's working. That is perfect. That is working. Then we check that we're still in range, right? So between when the attack, when he started thinking about attacking until when he actually attacks, you may have moved out of range and you're no longer able to hit him. If he is no longer in range, set the state back to hunting and say that you're not in range, and reset the attack target. So it starts searching for a new target to hit. Okay, then if it is hit, blah 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 blah, there it prints miss. So if it was a hit, it prints hit. Otherwise, it prints missed. Right. This negates it, so the negation just takes it from a positive to a negative value, because when we want to apply the damage to the mob, we want to the health method allows you to add or subtract, so you've got to pass in a negative value so that it actually deducts the health, and this piece is what's printing out a hit of, see, it says there hit, and the number and the text, which in this case is 0, which is weird. It should not ever be able to be 0, because it should be from 1 to 2, I guess. That lives here. Let's just make sure. So let's just make sure on our roll dice method, and we're not starting at 0, because that would be daft, right? No. Dice type get dice type random integer in range. Yep, random integer in range from 1 to the maximum. So can't ever return 0, right? So it's not going to ever return 0 on that dice roller. And now this piece I'm gonna change. I'm gonna have the dice roller only add a modifier and not actually calculate it out like this. This is applicable to hit points, so when I do hit points, I'll create a method that specifically calculates the hit points value before calling the dice roller. So that's something that I need to make a note of to fix. Okay, so we should not actually get in here in that instance, right? So there, if it's dead, here we go. We say, okay, the player is dead. Restart the game. Right? We've got to set the state to dying, and we've got to set the state of the player, or the thing that's being attacked, to dying, and set this actor's state back to hunting. So the only place where there's a possibility that hit 0 can come in is here. And that doesn't make any sense, right? How is it getting in here with a 0? That is very, very strange. None of that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Where am I? Okay, I know where I am. Not quite where I wanted to be. So let's go back there. Okay. And then it does the health adjustment, which the health adjustment then takes the, let's go take a look here. The current hit points plus the adjustment is less than or equal to 0. Then we set the current hit points to 0. And we say that you're dead. And we also just check that your max hit points right. Okay. Well, that's awkward. Okay, so I often do this. I often kind of confuse the max and the min when you need to do these checks. So what this check is supposed to do is it's supposed to say that if I'm adding hit points, you can't have more hit points than your maximum hit points. But it's instead saying, well, it's going to set the hit points. If you're not dead, it sets the hit points to the lesser of 0 or the maximum hit points, which will in this case be 0. So what we actually need to do here is we need to do the maximum of the max hit points and just because I'm don't like crossing the streams. Remember that, don't cross the streams. It must be the it must be the minimum. That is, it is meant to be the minimum. It was just that it didn't actually connect this pin. So that's what I did wrong. Okay, so this is the minimum. Perfect. Okay, so that's better. So now it will be the smaller of the new hit point total or the maximum hit points is the current hit points. There we go. Right, so that is why you always die the first time that you get hit, even if you take 0 damage. So let's go see. Now we'll maybe take like 2 hits before we die, right? There we go. Okay, let's go closer. He comes along. Okay. So we'll select him so we can see. There we go. Swing and a miss. Okay. I should actually put out the dice roll. Oh, -2. Yeah, that looks so much better. Right. -2. No damage. Swing and a miss. Yep. -2. Oh, right. Okay. So the what's being printed on screen there box is being is staying up for a bit too long. So let's go just change that up a bit. Where is that play effect text? Okay, so play effect text. Oh, the duration is being set from outside. The duration is being set here, and I'm setting the duration to 10 because I wanted to track that was happening, right? Okay, so let's go back in here. Let's try and do this the right way around. Select our foot soldier so we can see it's idle, I get in range, it's still idle, I'm not in range. I think I'm maybe not quite in range. Alright, there we go. Comes into hunting mode, starts attacking. Okay, so there we go. It's gonna swing. Oh, and it swings and hits me for -2. Swing and a miss. -1. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Yeah. Being lucky here. It feels like my D&D sessions. -2. Player is dead. Okay, now it shouldn't be continuing to attack, but you get the picture, right? Okay, well that's actually quite good. That's fixed another bug. So, obviously we need to handle death and those things. But let's just bask in the glory of momentarily having something that's working. Right, there we go. He comes in, and let's just see what are they doing. Okay, so now he's back in hunting mode. Okay, so that means that it works with the player, right? It actually works with the player, but it seems to be failing on the enemy type. That probably means that remember that very complicated cast this, cast that, and or stuff that we were looking at. I think that's our problem. Let's go take a look at that. Let's put some prints in. See how those prints are always our friends. not Prince, the artist formerly known as. Let's go here, let's go here. All of this casting stuff. Okay, no, is this the, what is this, what method am I? Do attack activity, is target in range. No, 50 feet, complete. It is in the begin overlap, like it's in here. Okay, so what would probably be a good thing to do here is to put all of this mayhem into a into a method. Yeah, probably makes sense to put that into a method. I'll do that in a bit. What is most likely happening is this thing is returning a not valid result. So what we want to do is we want to print out some of this information so that we can see what it actually looks like at this point. So I'm going to just add a print string here. Print string. Okay, and I'm going to go take this return value and make some kind of string out of that. Okay, and that seems to be able to do that. Let's just see what is it. Cast from object to a class will only work if the object is already a class. So its return value should be an object, surely. BP1 player character class reference. I feel like this should be a class. Let's see. Like if you take this, we'll take this piece, I'll do a string on here, it's going to tell me, if I can type, it's going to tell me that there is a two-string boolean, so I can just make it a boolean string, or a bold string. So in both of those instances I can do something with it. Here, I don't seem to be able to make any kind of string. There's no stringification that is actually valid there. So and I can't cast this to I can't just cast this to a particular type, to a minion or an enemy type. I wonder if there's a is of type, has elements of type. Let's see. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Element type name. I don't think that's what I'm looking for. Okay, well, when in doubt, let's ask Mr. Google. Right? Let's ask Mr. Google. I'll bring my browser window here so you can watch me Google. That's exciting. Unreal Blueprint cast to dynamic type. Maybe is it possible to dynamic cast? Let's see. Ooh. See why I'm staying away from the C++ right now. And C# I could have just said as and test for null, but not so lucky. Okay, so one option is to cast a bunch of different things. Okay, that's an option. Okay, let's try, I don't know, blueprint is of type. No, that's a types of blueprint. That's not quite what I want. So what we want to try and do, right? What we want to try and do is this is just knowing what this is. This is a hunt target type is a BP non-player character base type. It's a class reference. Okay, so let's see, maybe we can figure something out like a class reference. You want to compare class references. Equal. Okay, didn't think you could do that, but okay. Alright, that's an option of some sort, right? So this, we want to see what is I'm actually wanting to do this. I think it's that. Could be that. Okay, let's try that out because that seems like it might be sensible, and then I'll explain if it works. I'll explain why it works. If it doesn't work, I'll explain why I thought it might work. Seems reasonable, right? I have to fix the lighting on the skeleton. It looks really bad. Let's just go see. Okay, so he's immediately in hunting state. So that did not work. So what I thought might be a solution is not a solution. But let me explain what I was thinking anyway. So it's a random actor at this point, and here it is very definitely a character base, which is a parent to the minion type that we're interested in. So I thought that it kind of loses some reference information when it's already been cast. So now here it's not being cast. So this says it's casted as a class, and I'm pretty sure what's happening here is this cast to a class is then is not what I'm expecting it to be. I want some form of implemented object of a type. So what I'm going to do anyway is I'm going to try and cast this thing. I'm going to try again and just see what other cast options we have, right? So there's a whole bunch of cast options. And if that doesn't work, then we may need to go a fairly painful route, which I hope I don't have to. Broadcast field change, cast to a whole bunch of things, cast to user as entity, cast to settings. So cast class. See, it is expecting a class, and it returns an object class reference, which means that should be a valid reference. So let's try something else. Let's try equal. Do that. Right, so we're comparing those two things, and I'm going to say let's just do a bold string. Oopsie, bundle. Bold string. Come along here. It's going to use of type, and it's going to be true, and then the return value we write out to the print string there. And now we need to yeah, it's okay. We can come from here. Let's get in there. And let's get in there. It's also interesting. Let me actually take another. Oh, it hunts. Then it finds that thing is right in front of it, so it stays. Yeah, it stays in the hunt, which is also problematic. Okay. Anyway, maybe I just in the hunting class say if it's in range, set it. You know, like if it's gotten to the thing, set it to attack it. I can do that as well, I guess. Oh yeah. Okay, let's select the foot soldier. There we go. Alright, and here it comes. And he's still in hunting. And I didn't see the output because I wasn't paying attention. Alright, so we know that he's still in hunting mode, so let's not even bother with that. Is of type false, is of type false, is of type false. Huh. Why is it even doing that? Let's do this again. Is of type false. Why is it even doing that? It shouldn't be doing that, right? Is of type false. So they're not equal, but that doesn't really mean anything. At this point, it doesn't really mean anything. Very odd, very odd. Okay, so we know where the problem is. The trick now is just from an Unreal perspective, I guess, is understanding how do I get this check to done, this check done the way that I'm expecting it should be able to be done. I know that if I was doing this in code in C++ or C#, I'd be able to make this cast, validate that it's a valid cast based on a reference type, and definitely I could do this in C#. I know I could do this in C# as well. In C# you would have done is of and is or a type of, and then you'd be fine. So there must be a way. There must be a way to make this comparison. Okay, if this doesn't work, then we can brute force it, and we can go. Well, is he an enemy? Is he a minion? Am I interested? I still need to figure out: am I interested in an enemy or am I interested in a minion? And that means that at some point, this reference check needs to be able to be done dynamically. Alternatively, I'm going to end up with like a boolean of some sort or something. I don't really want to do that, because what if I have a third type of target, and then a boolean is no longer valid? Then I have to start doing more interesting and creative things. The other piece that is a little interesting is that it's coming in here and calling that cast when it shouldn't. Like, there shouldn't be a component overlap, right? Because of this, because now it's overlapping with the ground and with everything else, and that's definitely not what we want. We don't want to be doing ground overlaps and things like that. So definitely it should come out of that end, because now it'll only check it if it is a valid character base. Okay. Alright, I am going to call it a half a minute there. That was just over an hour. Thanks for the questions, and
thanks for tuning in, and if you're watching this later on, please leave comments and do all of those good things. I am trying to get better at this whole YouTube and streaming and everything else thing, so feel free to tell me how terrible I am. But yeah, hopefully I will have a bit of time tomorrow. I might just pop on tomorrow and record some more progress and try and figure out this attack hunting thing so that we know how to solve this problem. Hopefully I can solve this problem. So thank you for joining me tonight, and I'm glad that I was able to fix a couple of small bugs. I can now safely attack the player, and he doesn't die in one hit wonder death. So yeah, that was good. Thanks for joining me for that, and have a good rest of your Friday.